Sure what?
You talking to the mic, so you ain't got no choice but talk to the mic today. What? You don't want mine in the gutter.
Got a snipe. Wow. What does that mean?
You gotta come over a little bit. Ah. Did you grind it out today? Did you? And today's gonna be a doozy of a topic. Hey, what's up? I'm Rashad.
I'm Keisha.
We are hanging with the Joneses. This is episode number 49.
Who is that? Hanging with the Joneses. Uh-oh, I'm trying to get your romantic voice.
Wow. Yeah. No, not really. No sex in here, but I ain't trying to be sex for this. Serious topics, you know what I'm saying? Hard-hitting facts. Yeah, so hang with the Joneses, man. This is episode 49, and we are about to hit another milestone next week, as long as nothing crazy don't happen, and we gotta, postpone. But yeah, if you've been hanging with us so far, man, we appreciate you. And if you've been lurking in the background like a creep, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to creep around. Just be in the number. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
On the down low.
Nah. Be loud and proud. Keisha, this is one of the things that I think you kind of discredit as something that is very germane to you, and you be so surprised almost every time. And that's when people tend to overshare with you. Like, I think that if somebody wants to say something to anybody, they're going to tell you. And they're going to tell you all the things. And you're going to be there like this. Okay. So what happened when this happened then? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I feel like you're the siphoner of information at times. This goes into what we want to talk about today, and that is boundaries. So how could you define what boundaries are, and as well, what are some of the key things about having those and then not having those?
Boundaries are needed for a healthy relationship. Boundaries is kind of, if I can put it in simple terms, what makes you feel good and what makes you not. You know, when you go with your kids, when good touch, bad touch, those are healthy boundaries. Bad boundaries is not having any. Not having any, but expecting everyone to fulfill those or acquiesce to those boundaries that was never set.
Unpack that.
Okay. A real life scenario. I use an example of someone was like standing behind someone close in line. But some people might say, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Other people might say, like, that's not good boundaries. But if that person didn't express it, how would that person know who's standing behind that was something that made you uncomfortable? But you get mad for a person not doing something that you never told them. All boundaries aren't like common sense. It's not. Honestly, boundaries could be specific to age, race, and gender.
True.
And upbringing. You know, we might turn around and say, oh, you're so stupid. Someone else, that's a boundary issue. You can't say that. You know?
Right.
So I can't assume that that's going to be offensive to you if you don't tell me. Right. I think sometimes that's when we have in trouble. Some people we see trouble, no boundaries, or believe that because you're in whatever relationship, you don't have to set boundaries.
Say that again.
Because when you're in a relationship, whether it's friendship, parenthood, or intimate, that you don't have to set boundaries.
All right. I feel like for me, especially younger, like I was younger, like the boundaries that were set were kind of stumbled upon.
Explain.
You know, like they were never clearly defined anyway. Because I mean, one, having boundaries wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't even a term that we really even established as a part of a friendship / relationship. So boundaries were kind of almost like unwritten rules. Mm-hmm. Like some things like you shouldn't do, like don't do those things. Mm-hmm. You know, so even something like so and so is a certain way. Like don't joke on him too much. Like how he's gonna react, or like so and so mom died. Like don't say your mama jokes to him. Like that's not cool.
Well, who told you those boundaries? Was that kind of someone set you down? Was like, hey, don't say this, or it was kind of like the elephant in the room, like, don't say that. Don't.
I mean, it really depends on the situation. Like when I like as a kid, it was more like I said, we just stumbled upon those things,
Okay.
and those boundaries really had to do with having a sense of morality. When I think about it now, because like right and wrong, and where we kind of like bent those boundaries is where the points like we didn't really care. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? So if you want to joke with somebody or somebody was like, acting whatever, and we would react to that, that was like, yo, like we don't care about these boundaries today. So, but in certain situations where like, especially like people you knew or you were close with, like those unwritten rules were boundaries that we established amongst ourselves, but not really said like, yo, like these are boundaries.
Right. Back then, we didn't call it boundaries.
Yeah, so exactly what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. We called it do us to under others as you want done unto you.
So the golden rule?
The golden rule. But that's even really not true. You might have the self of comfort, like I don't mind someone do that. Doesn't mean somebody else is not going to mind that. So that the golden rule isn't really the golden rule.
What's the golden rule?
There's no way to guess or estimate, or there's no way. Someone would have to tell you, hey, I don't like when you say that, or I don't like when you do that. Because you might, using the term like stupid. A lot of times when we joke with someone in my family, it's like, you so stupid. If someone be joking like, you so stupid, I don't find it offensive. But when we first said to you, you was like, no. Like he was offended, and I was like, why?
Not a fan.
Right. So, but the golden rule is, if I don't mind you doing it to me, I'm doing to you what I don't mind being done to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily go that way. It doesn't. Just because I don't mind having something done, don't mean it's not going to offend another. Like the example of someone standing behind you in line. Some may not even notice it. Like, it's no big deal. Some, that is a trigger, and you pretty much ready for a fight.
Yeah.
Or the big example, when I first came to Virginia, I'm from New York, from Harlem specifically. When I first came to Virginia, and people used to look at me and say hi. And for people that's down here from the South, you probably like, so what's the big deal? For my up north people, you probably like, what? That was a big thing for me, and that was boundaries because in New York, when someone looks at you, it's not a good thing. Like, it's almost like, what, you got a problem? So when I got down here and people were looking at me, I'm like, what, you got a problem? What's going on? And I remember one was like, I just want to say hi. I was like, oh, hi. Going back to New York, since I'm down here so much, I'm used to while walking through, like, hey, how you doing? Plus with my job, every time you see a client, whether it's your client or not, because I work in the hospital, you have to say, hi, how you doing? How you doing? So I went back to New York, and there was an older person in the store. So I say, how you doing, ma'am? And she said, and I was like, maybe she can hear me. I said, ma'am, how you doing? And the way she looked at me was like, I talked about her mama. I was like, oh, I'm in New York.
Like,
that's boundaries.
Why are you talking to me?
Right, that's boundaries. You don't talk to me, I don't know you. Even though I said hello, ma'am, to her, it probably gave her an impression that I might try to do something to her.
Yeah.
Boundaries. You see how it could be very different boundaries? And that's just from being up north to being down here.
When it comes to you specifically, when it comes to people sharing, how do you differentiate somebody really need to get this off their chest, or they're just oversharing because this is just this is just who they are?
I kind of take it as everyone, they just need to get off their chest. Rashad, no, literally, I can be in the store buying
whatever,
and someone would just come to me and tell me all about it. Like, this just happened today. I went to get a service, and someone was like, yeah, just told me from their life, which some would say, honestly, that's classified as not having healthy boundaries because you don't know me and you just so willingly, tell me your whole life. I could really take advantage of you. I don't, because for some people, I look at it as they might not have anyone to listen to. So if I'm the one that I feel like if God is using me at this time in this moment to listen to you, I listen. I mean, what does it cost to listen?
A lot.
We'll go somewhere. Shop, right, here's your client. Go get her. Go get your client. And I promise I could be out with my children, all about family activity, and someone would come and be like, hey, and just start talking. Don't matter age, don't matter race. I'm not sure if I possess something that makes people feel like they can come and tell me their burdens. I don't know. But I just listen as sometimes maybe they just need to get something off their chest.
Yeah.
And by the way, a lot of these conversations, but Rashad said, I'm like, right. Don't say anything. Sometimes I don't say anything at all. And they're like, it's nice talking to you. Like, okay. But for me, I'm okay with it. If it's somewhere, like if I feel like it's not, I would cut it off. But I don't think I ever had to do that.
Yeah, I ain't with it, yo. Like it's
But they don't come to you.
Nah, very rarely. Like I mean, I think now I'm getting to a place where I'm more accepting of some of it to a certain degree. It really, I mean, I like, yo, it really depends on my mood or how I feel at that particular moment, because you can be in any sort of mood and just like, you know, you'll snap into mode.
For me,
Yeah. I'm like, fam, like, I got something to do. You know what I'm saying? And
I take it as an honor.
I take it as you're overstepping my boundaries because I don't want to talk to you.
It could be.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
I'm
it
like,
could be.
or like, but in certain cases, I feel like, especially if I know someone is kind of like trying to talk, you know what I'm saying? Not just some rando, like somebody's really like, yo, like, okay, then I'll acquiesce, be like, all right, so what's on your heart? Because like you, I feel like you trying to press me.
I feel like if God is using me this time just to simply to listen, what can it hurt? I'm careful on though not to give mental health advice. I'm very, very careful. That's my boundary.
Why?
I'm not going to go into a full session because, one, I haven't really assessed this person and see what's going on.
Right.
Two, with me being licensed, I don't want to put my license on the risk where you come in like, well, she told me to do X, Y, and Z, and not knowing the whole story behind it, and I told them to do something that was detrimental to their life. Or I might say the recommendation, did you talk to your doctor about that? Or maybe you should see what a therapist is, but I'm not going to have a full therapy session. I'm telling you, this just happened to me today, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, oh. So, and then I think, and I would never consider myself, but I think this is new, encouraging. I think sometimes people are just looking for an encouraging word.
Yeah, encouraging it definitely isn't like your top gift.
It's not. But but when it comes to that, maybe it's a gift I undermine. But I think sometimes people just come for encouraging words.
Yeah. I mean, because
how many people have said, like, I don't even know why I'm talking to you. I haven't told such and such this. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I don't even know you. How many times people said that, like, I don't talk to people. Why am I telling you this?
A lot of times. And I feel like some people, for me, it can be bordering between like, all right, I'm not sure if this is too much information or if this is not enough information. Learning vicariously through you, I've learned how to ask better questions, if that makes sense. Instead of just leaving stuff as is, sometimes I have to like, okay, let me ask the next question to kind of lead it. Because sometimes people really be beating around the bush. And, you know, I be getting impatient, like, fam, like, what you got to say? Like,
and sometimes certain things. Sometimes people being around the bush. Sometimes people are trying to test it. Can you handle this information?
True.
I don't want to tell you something and then you can't handle it and you break on me and that makes me feel, that widens my wound. Yeah. Or sometimes people don't realize they haven't came to the point to rationalize that they didn't even connect the two. They didn't connect 1 + 1. And in counseling, you'd be surprised at how much time is connecting things. That 1 + 1.
Oh, I know that for sure.
Right.
For sure.
For sure. Right.
People definitely. It's crazy because even though could be sharing my entire life with you, I still have to test you out to make sure that I'm comfortable with doing that in that moment.
And see, that's the thing with me too. Like we said the golden rule, it doesn't apply because you're probably not. I'm not the one to share. You're not going to see me walk up to someone and just be like, have I ever done that?
Nah.
I'm not. I'm more. What you say?
Reserved.
Yeah.
I play this. I haven't done this though. I have shared, and this is like just actually just going through therapy and stuff and trying to be honest. I have shared real honest things with random strangers though about where I am at that time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And even if like we'll have like this kind of back and forth, I'll try to be as genuine in that moment as possible. Instead of being, you know, very cold and kind of you know, not wanting to engage, because my level of engagement has increased.
It has improved a lot.
Just like,
I don't know because you with me, it's kind of rubbing off. It has improved because Rashad like, I ain't got time for this. Like, yo, Rashad, like, be easy. Keisha, we gotta go. We gotta go. Hey, let him or her finish. Don't finish. We're gonna go, but it's a reason for this right now.
Yeah, because I'm AB. I did one thing is completed. It's on to the next thing. I don't need anything to be derailing me from doing the next task. Mm-hmm. And it's a blessing and a burden.
And sometimes even talking, I'll be honest, sometimes they had answers to questions I was seeking.
Yeah.
So even sometimes in their not know me, but I'm gonna tell you this, it was like, oh, that's what I was looking for, or okay, I didn't know that, and they help connect me with stuff. So I don't think it wasn't always me just listening. Sometimes I got some juice out of it too.
Yeah.
That we didn't have the conversation that I wouldn't have known or.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because it boils kind of back down to what we talked about a few weeks ago, and that is just simply having the conversation. Mm-hmm. Sometimes where I feel it's not necessary or it is taking too long, it just kind of needs to develop. Mm-hmm. And there's some very specific times where I will take the time to actually have a conversation with said individuals, and really try to connect things and be of assistance and of encouragement. It's unlike Keisha, like I do encourage, that's I don't mind doing that. And now I can see where people do need that. Mm-hmm. People are really wanting just to kind of like, hey man, it's all good, yo, you're gonna be all right. And you know, and have that kind of back and forth where they can like leave like, oh man, like yo, like I really feel a lot better, a lot lighter. Mm-hmm. You know, at least I can kind of grind the rest of this day out, and whatever tomorrow happens, you know, so whatever happens.
It is so important about fellowshipping and talking. I mean, so I heard, I'm not going to counseling just to talk. What's talking going to do? Talking does a lot, and it relieves a lot. And statistically, that's why it's shown that women tend to live longer. And the assumption is we live longer because we talk.
Yeah, we
talk. We don't hold all that stuff in. So talking helps you redirect that energy. If you're in a relationship with someone, friendship, work relationship, whatever, and they can't respect your boundaries, that's not a relationship you should have. But I remember my computer was getting worked on, and this won't be in the cubicle. Computer getting worked on right here, and one person was like standing right here, and I was like, okay, I'm in the cubicle, it's small space, and we all three. Can you please sit down? You know, you're really bothering me. And then she got kind of offended, but that was okay. Even having healthy boundaries, that was okay for her to get offended. I asked you to get him away from me because it's no reason for you to be here right now. And plus, I felt my anxiety being triggered. Like I felt being triggered by her being there and being so close in the tight space.
Yeah, super confined.
Yeah. I felt myself being triggered. And I think I felt the person's working my computer. I felt him starting to raise up. So even though the person got offended, I felt like I intervened because I felt his anger raising. Healthy balance, not everyone has to agree with it. But if she didn't agree with it, clearly that's not a person that we need to interact with.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you stop doing this because it's hurt and you can't stop because whatever reason, this is not a healthy relationship.
What does healthy boundaries look like in a relationship?
Healthy boundaries is really, this probably sounds cheesy, like it's a big circle. Each person getting what they need to be healthy. So if I tell you my boundary is, but we are talking from day one, don't put your hands on me.
Right.
That's if you do that, it makes me feel insecure and things gonna go, you know what I mean? It's not gonna go good for me. So that's a healthy boundary.
I feel like boundaries are almost one of those like non-negotiable type things. Like, you know, we can agree on some stuff, but some stuff is like, nah, like this is kind of where I am right now, and I need for you to understand this is where I am.
And I think too, boundaries change. Let me know if you agree, depending on your relationship with that person. So meaning that, no, since you're my husband, certain things I'm more flexible about that you can do, I can do that no one else can do.
Yeah.
People that I'm real close with, I have another boundary with them that, you know, they can't make do the same thing you do, but they have a little bit more insight for me. And like strangers, it's like you have minimum.
True.
You say yes and thank you.
All
you know,
right.
but we don't necessarily say yes because our relationship, you know, we kind of like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we actually say that, like, you know what I mean. But some other relationships, depending on relationships, your boundaries could be different. Like if us close friends came to me and asked me stuff about my intimacy, okay, what you want to know? I have no problem. If a stranger came to me and asked me something like that, we got a problem. You know, so would you agree? Depending on your relationship, too, get it established. And for at work, you just need to know my work. It's rarely ever. It's something I share, but
No, it'd be super surface.
yeah, really. So. And before with a client, I wouldn't even share if I had a family.
Yeah, you didn't.
That was a big one for me. If I was on with a client, I wouldn't share if I had a family. It's like you have children. Let's discuss you. You married? Let's discuss you. I wouldn't share that. The reason about that boundaries, some of these individuals' behavior, I didn't want them to try to look for my child or you. And some of them were like in their schools, some of them they have interaction with. So I didn't want like bullying or anything to occur. It's especially my daughters.
Yeah.
So so boundaries are needed. You can't really get mad with someone if you didn't say, hey, this is my bottom line. You know how it work, like they have policy and procedures. Like if you call somebody stupid, that's what it's like with relationships. Don't ask me, can you wear my underwear? No, that's a boundary. That's a boundary issue.
It's more than a boundary issue.
You'd be surprised how many people don't care. That's not a boundary for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. For me,
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah.
I get it. It's amazing how we tend to look at boundaries as a very rigid thing, but it's very fluid.
It's very fluid. It helps you to engage with people. To me, it takes the mystery out of, should I do this? Should I do that? Person just tell you, hey, handle me this way. That mystery is gone. You know how to proceed.
Yeah. And I feel, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Boundaries, man, and just oversharing and too much information. It's never too much information for you. You'd be like,
It's not. And I don't. If there's an issue of confidentiality, I don't tell him.
No,
also, because he doesn't want to know. And
that too. Like,
also, why?
I need all the headspace I can get. I'm good on that. I don't care about you. I don't care.
And to me, it's like if the Lord uses me to bless, I take that scripture very well. That if I do something and I'm telling everybody I did it, then there go your blessing. You don't necessarily. No one needs to know what I did. If it helps somebody or if that person helped me, I want to shout it like, look how God used them. But it doesn't. Once again, boundaries. It's that person's story to tell. Yeah. So it's not my story to tell how God used me to help them.
Nah, for real. Because think it's especially like us, like over since we've been married, like almost 20 years. Like there's been so many people that helped us, and even the people we help. Like there has never been look at what we did type stuff. Like that's hella whack. Like
I held over their head. Like,
yeah,
remember when I helped you?
Nah. It's I don't ascribe to that at all. I don't like that. And it's funny because a portion of that actually, one time we kind of shifted in our marriage where it was like, okay, like we had to kind of reestablish boundaries. And one of those for me was I felt like I couldn't really say what I've done. And then you was like, yo, like, I just don't even remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind. I'm like, oh, for real? Because for me, it's like, I'm just throwing stuff in your face. But for you, it was like, this is just where I am. Like, I need to be reminded. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's totally different than me. Again, that's a different sort of boundary being set. Because before it was here, and now it's kind of way over here.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
As you progress, your boundaries may change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your boundaries may change. Might become loose or tighter.
Yeah. Again, and that's what.
Shut up. Shut up. I didn't mean like that. So nasty.
And that's when you have to sit back down at the table and start renegotiating the terms of your relationship.
Terms of interaction.
Yeah, because then after you negotiate, then you establish new boundaries. I feel like we're actually putting stuff together. It's really good.
Our boundaries are intermesh.
No, not even that. I'm talking about just like calling back from old episodes. Because we're almost 50 deep, so we can actually do that now. Yeah. Anyway. Like, share, subscribe, man. If you're still here, we appreciate you. Like, for real. Please subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, especially YouTube. The more you subscribe, the more you interact and engage, the more YouTube knows that people like this. So, that's good, too. And if you're listening on the audio, man, we appreciate you, too, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really appreciate it, man. Give us 5 stars and all that good stuff because 5 is the most you can give. And we're giving you all, so you should give us your all, too.
Oh, I like that. Boundaries.
It's just a click, you know what I'm saying? And leave well wishes, too, because, we don't like negativity. Anyway, that's all we got, man. Falcon Winter Soldier review is up. Driving with Dad episode 1 is up. Desiree, it was a train wreck. Other than that, almost. Other than that, we'll see you guys next Monday at 7 a.m.